not me saying this to scare anyone, but this has been going on for the last 20 years. People have been raising the alarms. Right now, over 52% of the soil on a global scale is depleted of life. It's dead soil, right? And what do I mean by that, right? So you could, go in your backyard and dig a hole. And who's done that before? Who's actually looked at the soil in their backyard? What does that look like?
Clay.
Clay. It's like red, right? Maybe sometimes a little silty, right? Good earth, right? If you look at that bag right there, that is a raised bed mix from Arizona Word Farm. It's dark, it's rich, it's loose, it can crumble in your hands, right? We're gonna feel and touch some soil that's been freshly composted. When you touch good soil, you know it immediately. It smells a certain way. It has a certain consistency. Most of the soil that we have in our backyards are not like that whatsoever, right? It's not the type of soil that you can grow plant life in and be able to feed a family off of. Even if you do feed them, it's not going to really do any impact because the plants are starving. Composting, you want to make sure that you take care of all of it. Make sure that if you are going to compost, don't go and hurt that process by using pesticides because you see some bugs that you don't like. You're ruining everything that you're doing already with the work of composting. The next thing that's hurting our soil is over commercial farming on a large scale. We are tilling and ripping up the soil over and over to add new crops in each and every season to keep up with what we need to sustain our grocery stores. So there's dead soil and there's rich living soil. So today is a workshop about how we could manually create living soil, right? As opposed to the regular dirt you find in your backyard. So that you have more yield is crucial for a garden to thrive. And truth be told, black soldier flies, the little flies that we swat at, flies are pollinators. Butterflies are pollinators. Your ladybugs, as they're going around doing their thing, they're pollinators. Anything that is going in the petals and the pollen of these beautiful flowers that are showing off, those are attracting life forms. Those of you who want to come with me, we're going to exit this way and we're going to do a lap around the garden and come right back. Keep following me. Now over here, these are our gardens of food that we normally have for the community. Every fourth week, we have a open farm marketplace where Nika has vendors selling their wares, but we give away produce to the community free of charge. So some of you have probably been here already on this space when she holds those events, but we will have that whole area filled to the brim with produce from the garden and also from St. Mary's and St. Vincent de Paul, and we give it away to the community at no charge. All we need to know is how many people live in your household, and you will get fresh produce that doesn't have a lot of food miles. That way you get the nutrients that you need, right? This is collard greens, right? Most of we already pulled up. We have cabbage, we have onion. We're about to put our shade structures back up, and all this is going to get prepped for melons and hydrating fruits. That way we could get hydrated during the summer months. So that's the only thing that really thrives. That and pepper is the only thing that can really make it out in the tough heat in Arizona. And okra. That's pretty much the only thing that's going to make it. I'm just a helper. This is my wife's farm. Now, what she does for the sisterhood in the community, she rips off these rows on an annual basis. So, see this gigantic bush right here? Anybody know what this is? This is rosemary. Fresh rosemary. So if you like rosemary in your tea or in your food, you can come here, no problem, free of charge, and just take a clip. It's more than enough to keep everybody busy in the community. So this white powder is meant to kill them so that they don't spread and harm the rest of it. But all of this soil here, notice this is not like the soil you see at home. This is compost soil. It's the only way these plants can grow to the size that they're getting. If you go to the grocery store, you're not going to get squished jar that looks this large. Right? So it's growing in this healthy way because of the soil. The better you take care of the soil, the better output you get. Set up the right way, the ants won't bother you. Right now we have all these wonderful crops going around. You don't see ants just teeming all over the place. Right? Because what happens is when they have a good biodiverse ecosystem, the ants burrow deep because they have enough resources to pull from everything and stay where it's nice and cool. They don't necessarily want to be on top. But when they are resource deprived, now they have to hunt and search for food. And if you don't have a thriving garden, what happens is they're going to be constantly on the march looking for resources to pull and bring back into the space. They'll rather just be chilling in the cut, minding their own business, right? So we want to introduce and create a safe space for the good bugs and do things to get rid of the bad bugs. They're on our exact same time schedule. Okay. The moment we want to eat it, they've been watching it, they've been eyeing it, like, okay, this is the spot. Let's go to this address, and we're gonna attack. But before we know, maybe 2 weeks before we harvest, we bring in a whole bunch of ladybugs into this space. We release them on that side, and we release them on that side. So worm casting doesn't require a whole lot. Now you can get this started. You can go to Arizona Worm Farm, you get a bin like this, and what you do is you put compost down, you shred up cardboard paper, and you layer it, and you on 1/3 of the box you put food waste. So whenever you are cooking, you have waste, or people like to put some food in the garbage bin, instead of doing that, you'll put it in here, let the earthworms eat it. They will eat everything. They have 2 holes, one to eat and one to poop. All right. Now the reason why this is important, because worms will, the worm castings will increase your crop yield by 25%. It's making the roots move through the soil easier because they're burrowing, making tunnels. If the soil is too hard, compact, then what's going to happen is your roots are going to have a hard time, right? So microbial activity. We want a lot of organic life forms. We want the bugs. We want good, healthy bacteria. We want fungi, okay? So over there, I showed you area that we dug a hole for, where that's our worm box. Also, the cocoons of the worms. So when the right conditions set, with the right temperature, the right amount of moisture, more worms will come from that, okay? Now, sister had a question about, well, suppose I have an urban farm and I have pots and I don't have like a lot of space like this. What does that mean for the composting? Well, what we want to do is treat the composting as a way to feed our plants. It's plant food, right? So you can add a layer, maybe a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of a layer of compost that you can put on the top, or you can use your hands to lovingly mix it into the soil. But don't use like spades and try to rip up the dirt. And like the more you rip up the dirt, the more you're killing things, right? So try to massage it in there as much as you can. So just look at it like plant food, fancy plant food. All right, so you are stepping right now on top of our worm box. And what we're going to do is worms like to stay with each other. So they normally stay in a ball. They want to be around each other as much as possible. So what I'm going to do is take a good amount of them like this and start putting them in here. Yep. Okay. So if your worms are too dried out, even I got to cover this because right now they're going to be burrowing deep because the sun's hitting it. They don't like that. They have a slimy coat. So if it gets too dry, it starts to rip that slime coat off, and that's how they start to die off really quick, all right? So we need it really, really moist, and we want to cover it. Now, the best thing you could do is when you put them in a bin like this, they're going to stay in this area for a while, and then they're going to start separating and migrating. You always want to give them a reason to stay there. So we're going to take some dead, oh, there goes the ladybug. All right, so we want to take these that are already starting the decomposition process, and you want to layer it like this. It's perfect. So now this is going to provide natural cooling shade, and they have something to eat that's going to be breaking down, and this could be home base. Yes, yeah, this is a little bit too big. So but if you get a little mesh tube, and make sure that the holes are wide enough for them to go through, and they don't stay in one spot. But normally with our raised beds, because we have some at the home, you don't even need all that. You just like dig a hole, put them in, and cover it. because it's a controlled space. You'll be able to feed it. They're not going anywhere, right? So with this, we want to make sure that they don't leave. We want them to stay in this space. We want to give them a reason to stay in this space. But if you have a raised bed, they're not going anywhere. Okay, so I'll leave this here. Let's all go to the center. All right, if everybody wants to meet me right here, we're going to go over here to the compost area. So, there's different types of compost piles you can have, right? So this is the lazy way because we have time and space to control it, okay? So this way may take about 3 months to completely break down. If we had a more controlled space where it was like, you know, could turn it and do all this crazy stuff, now it could probably be sped up, maybe like 2 months. Right? It's gonna turn into rich black soil like this, right? So this is rich compost. Rich compost.
Damp but not wet.
Right? Damp but not wet. Damp but not wet. That's the consistency that it would be when you get the rich compost breaking down. That takes about 3 months for our system to turn into this. Now, only thing we'll do is go back on the raised beds or wherever the crops we have, and then we will sprinkle it over. Right? And even in here is where we keep some of our food waste. So when we have our waste from over there, we'll throw some over there. So I'll just grab some of this that's already breaking down. Okay, so now I have my greens. In order to make this right, I need to add some browns. So you want a healthy combination of carbon and nitrogen. Then what we'll do is add a little bit of the carbon browns. You can throw the paper right in there. All right, so I need more greens. Yes, I can use that. Matter of fact, can you grab me?
You want some of this, Jasmine?
Yes, grab.
Jasmine, right here. Grab some of that.
Perfect. There you go. I can take all of that. All of that. Thank you.
Even add seeds into it, you're going to be growing over here.
Well, no. Remember.
Oh, yeah, the temperature.
Remember, once the pile gets to a certain temperature, it starts to burn that off.
Take your roll off.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is add. I'm going to use this to kind of.
Start
That pile to the other side eventually is because this side is going to be filled with worm castings. Does that make sense? Right? So that's how over the years you will be able to say, okay, I can have a nice handful of worm castings that can take care of an entire garden because I was taking care of my own food waste at home. So not only am I breaking down that organic material that my family eats and we throw away, it's my natural garbage disposal. They're eating my food. And then I take their poop and I feed my plants in an hour. So it's moving like a machine. And anything that it devours in that space is just leaving like a trail of poop as it goes. Eat poop.
What about micro?
And this is what Arizona Worm Farm primarily uses at their farm. Right? They're not too far away from here. They have classes that you can take advantage of where you go really down the rabbit hole. You see how the process works on a large scale because they have mounds and mounds of 100-foot long piles of protein. And it's about observing, about being still in the space, being mindful, and paying attention to the little things, noticing, paying attention to all those different bugs, seeing how much life you have in the space. Pay attention to all those things. And a good gardener is logging. So you're saying, on this day, I was in a space and I did this. The neighbor's cat came to the space. Oh, I noticed a parakeet. But if you want to have a journal that you love, what happened?
681-1656. 1656.
Okay. Round of applause.
You gonna clean up today, y'all.
All right, so we're going for compost next. Compost.
1652. On there too.
Stop playing. Stop playing.
Wow.
All right. So you're fired.
Look at those things around.
Ain't fair.
She bought like 100 mulch. Bag of mulch. Last four are 1672.
One.
That ain't me.
No.
That should make it.
1672.
1672.
1672.
It has to be
It's
here.
gotta be somebody here.
Somebody left. One. This is
1672. That's you. Look, you the winner. Last four, yeah.
I'm like, this person's gotta be here.
I'll put this over here. 25% you.
$50. $50.
Alright.
$50.
So the first one is going to go to 681-1671.
Jamaica.
Yep, come on.
I knew
Right
it.
here.
Hey, winner. You got to go. Remember, keep that into a cool space. Right, keep it in a cool space. Like if it's too hot, you can put it in the refrigerator, but don't put it in the freezer.
Okay.
Right. Raised bed mix. Raised bed mix.
Last four is 1673.
1673.
Come on.
1673.
Right here. She on the roll. She on the
What are
roll.
we doing? Okay. All right. Some of y'all are gonna have an entire supply for your garden needs. All right. Last four. 1661. 1661.
No, that'll work.
Right back here.
We got someone new? Yes.
Okay, awesome.
That was the goal. I want to spread the love around. Okay, so that was for the raised bed mix. Yeah. All right. So this is yours.
That works for you?
Now,
All right, perfect.
one thing I wanted to know, I forgot to talk about it, but that raised bed mix, if you look at the ingredients in it, there's some other soil amendments I didn't get a chance to talk to you about, right? So, yes, we are focusing on the worms and the worm casting. Now, part of that also, notice how juicy it was? It had that strong, pungent odor. That is called compost tea. You can take that juice and pour it into a spray bottle and go around and spray your plants.
Yes.
That compost tea is gold too. They sell that by the
Can you first off tell us how you found out about us?
I found out through Eventbrite, just looking for nature-inspired gardening classes.
And then tell us what were your thoughts?
I didn't know what to expect. It was great. Beautiful outdoor space. This was a blessing. The detail that was given in the composting was really good, so I'm glad I came.
What are some of your takeaways from it as a result of coming to the workshop?
Knowing what brown and green composting means, knowing what worms were, the black, or the red and the blue. I never touched the worms like that before, so that was a new experience for me. And just hearing about the different temperatures and the different types of soil, and the way you put the cast iron, the worms in the ground. It's a lot of good information. Yeah, like I said, this is a blessing. I'm going to tell my girlfriends about it. I hope we can bring a group into a class here. The space was great, the structure was great, and this is like a hidden gem. So I'm glad I experienced it.
Great. So you just attended the Composting 101 workshop. So first off, tell us what are your thoughts?
I actually really liked it. It was in depth. It was like explained it at a level a beginner would understand. And I felt like, as someone who wants to garden, it was like really, it connected to my brain.
Yeah, the hands-on piece, right?
Yeah. I learned what compost really meant and like how to compost. I learned what the greens were. I learned there's different types of worms and which worms are better for the area I live in. Really, it explains things that a beginner would know. Even a advanced person, they would also know. It's easy. Yeah, I would.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it, sister.
You're
Peace.
welcome.